Welcome back to Positive Vibes Only. So, I'm Renee Washington, and I'm glad that you're here today. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the first episode, but if you do, it's on my website, on my YouTube page, about 20 minutes long, so I apologize in advance, but maybe take some time to watch it. But the big thing about Positive Vibes Only, and this is something I've discussed and trying to create exactly what I wanted to do with my own show. Something more informal, more of a conversation, more of a, I guess, monologue actually, since it's just me talking and you listening, but whatever. But it's just time that we have conversations about things that need to change. And the one thing is what happens up here. So how we think is a big part of how we act. If you walk around negative, woe is me, everything's awful, my life is awful, it will reflect in your actions. And it's the same thing with positive vibes, which is why we have positive vibes only on this show. So even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you don't like how I look, you don't like how I talk, whatever it is, that's your opinion. You can always leave. But much like we learned from a very young age, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And that's part of the problem with what we struggle with as people is we feel the need to constantly correct, critique, and judge people because we may not agree with people, which is not necessarily always the right way to go about doing things. So, in my opinion, it's time we start to see people for who they are. And that's what I talked about in my first episode. None of us are perfect. None of us, I hate to break it to you, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. But it's time that we start to really understand what that means. So we all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different races and socioeconomic backgrounds and religions and education. Literally every aspect of our lives makes us who we are, makes us different, and makes us different person to person. So we have to think of each other like snowflakes. No two snowflakes are the same. No two people are the same. Whether you're identical twins, whether you're complete strangers, you are not going to find someone just like you. Doppelganger? Maybe. Exact like you? No. So let's change the way we think. And just to quickly summarize my first episode, let's stop attacking other people for being different. Let's stop ganging up on someone else, bullying them, mistreating them, leaving them out, ignoring them. Why? What do you get out of that? In my opinion, if something is not making you a better person, if it's not helping you out in any way, so if it's not helping your health, if it's not helping you with your education, if it's not helping your family, don't do it. If it's not helping your job or a skill you have, maybe you are a painter or an athlete or you're in school. If it's something that is directly helping that, do it. Reading, taking classes, studying, all directly help you. Bullying someone, please tell me how that helps you in any aspect of life. I'm waiting. Thought so. Does not help you whatsoever. Ignoring someone, same thing. It takes literally like half of a second to say hi to someone. Hi. All you need to do. Don't have to know the person. Don't even have to like the person. I have gotten in the habit, and I have ended up getting in many more conversations because of this, but it ends up being something that I've tried to do more and more of, is to just say to people, hi, how are you? When you pass someone, hi, how are you? I think that took maybe 1 second. Took nothing out of my day. Did not hurt me in any way. But you never know how much someone needs to have someone smile at them, have someone interact with them, have someone address them. So many people walk around day after day after day and constantly are ignored. Like the saying goes, you're in a room full of people, but you're still alone. You're surrounded by people, but you're still alone. And just because you're in a school, in a job, in the city, in wherever, doesn't mean that you actually aren't lonely. So take time to just address someone. Hi, how are you? Hey, how's your day going? Hey, I like your shirt. Done. Keep walking. You don't even have to stop and have a conversation. But that simple comment, that little compliment might be enough to make that person feel better. They may be having an awful day. Maybe everything seems like it's not going their way. But just by you saying, hey, I like your shirt. Hey, I like the way you did your hair. I love your shoes. Done. Didn't take anything from you. So why don't we start, and I challenge you to do this. Find something nice to say about someone. Rather than us always judging someone. Oh, why is she wearing that? Why is she walking like that? Who cares? Walk how you want. Act how you want. Be whoever you want to be. I always tell people, you can be a prostitute, a drug addict, a sinner, which, if you may not believe in God, I'm not trying to push religion on you. You may be the worst person in the world. But if you're happy doing it, so be it. I am not one to tell you how to live. I am not God. I am not one to judge. I have no room to judge. And who am I to tell you how to live your life? Because I'm not perfect, and I don't expect you to be. So stop judging people as you walk past them. Why are they talking like that? Oh, did you see what she said? Who cares? Just compliment someone. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Don't react at all. Hi, how are you? Have a good day. See you later. Nice hat. That was a great job you did. Easy. So the one thing I do want to talk about, actually, and this is kind of really shifting gears. So along with bullying, a lot of things we've been seeing lately are the hashtag #MeToo, sexual abuse specifically. But I just want to kind of get into abuse as a whole. It's a very sensitive subject. It's one that's tough to talk about. But I think that something that we can all do a better job of is paying attention. And as hard as it is to say this, we live in a world where we've seen slavery, Holocaust, genocides, terrorist attacks, bombings. We've seen, or I know I've seen, especially even in the news as of recently, we've seen parents sell their own kids for money. Human trafficking. We live in a world of kidnappers, killers, the list goes on and on. What am I getting at? We live in a world of crazy people. If you didn't pick up on that, there are crazy people in the world. I hate to tell you that. So that being said, you need to pay attention to the ones you love and care about, like your children. You also need to pay attention to those around you. Pay attention to how someone is acting. If someone, specifically, let's say you have a son, and he is always upbeat and peppy, and one day you notice he comes home from sleeping over at his friend's house and something is off. I'm not saying he was abused, but I'm saying you should ask what happened. And I think, look, I can't control abuse. I can't control things like kidnapping and killing, and obviously I have no power to do so. But what I am saying is we just have to pay more attention. Just like we tell women to pay attention when you're walking by yourself in dark alleys or walking by yourself in a parking garage, we need to also pay attention to each other around other people. I, for instance, was not allowed to sleep over people's houses growing up. Why? Because you are now leaving your child in the house with other people, and although their friend may be living there and their friend is a great friend, you don't know what their parents are capable of, what their siblings, maybe there's a cousin, maybe there's an aunt or an uncle. You don't know what's going on in that house. So you don't have to sleep over. I'm not saying everyone has their own beliefs on sleepover, so I'm not saying don't let your kids sleep over somewhere. What I am saying is they don't have to. They don't have to sleep over every friend's house. They don't have to stay at everybody's house. They don't always have to be left alone with people. We as a whole have to pay more attention because a lot of times the abuse happens right in your house. Aunts or uncles, cousins, siblings, your own kid, one of your kids abusing another kid. As awful as that is to say, it happens all the time. So we need to pay more attention to the mannerisms, behaviors, the attitudes and actions that we are seeing, and then also try to minimize that happening. Obviously, you can't go around following your kid or your brother or your sister or whoever every second of their life. You cannot. You can teach them to be safe. Tell them things like, hey, if someone ever asks you to do something, like this that's inappropriate, don't do it, find an adult. You can give them guidance on what to do if they ever get in that situation. Hey, I don't know if someone has ever touched you or said anything to you, but if it did happen, you can always come to me. It's not your fault. I will help you. Have these conversations. It's hard to have these conversations. I had them with my parents. I still have them with my parents. My parents still check on me. I am 25 years old, and they still ask me things like, has this ever happened to you? What happened the other night? Are you okay? Just check in. Just literally check in. Have conversations. I remember watching Lifetime movies with my mom, and at the time I was very annoyed because she would always take the situation of the teenage girl getting kidnapped and tell me how she should not have gotten kidnapped. And at the time I was annoyed, but you know what? When I was off by myself, you better believe I remembered what my mom said that Thursday night we watched that Lifetime movie when I was sitting out walking by myself in the dark, or when I was at a party in college. I heard my parents' voices as I was partying and doing whatever. Why? Because I had those conversations, and we need to have more of those conversations. And I remember being in situations, and the inner mom and dad in me either got me out of the situation or helped me get a friend out of the situation. I've always been the mom of my friends. I will gladly take that title. You know why? Because that means I'm alert, I'm aware, and that my friends know they can trust me to help them out. And every single time we have ever been in a situation, maybe it's a drunk friend or we're at a party and guys are hitting on us and we're getting a little uncomfortable, I've always been the one that has been able to get us out of that. Because I'm the mom, and I will take that. Because my mom and my dad and my older sisters had these conversations with me to help me know what to do. So have conversations with your children. Have conversations between your children. So I remember sitting talking with my mom and my sisters at the same time, and us just having a conversation. So it wasn't really like she was talking at me and lecturing me. We were literally discussing things like, yeah, I remember I was at a party and a friend of mine offered me a drink and she was really drunk and I didn't know what, blah, 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 whatever. You get it. It's a hypothetical situation. But it's happened. We've had those conversations. Have conversations. Don't trust everyone. I am sorry to tell you this, but you cannot trust everyone with your kids or yourself. You cannot trust every parent of your kids' friends. You cannot trust every relative. I have relatives to this day I still do not trust, and I still would never sleep over their house, never drive in the car with them. If they ask to drive me, you know what? I'll meet you there. You know why? Because you can't trust everyone. I hate to break it to you. How many times have we seen in the news stories of parents locking their kids up in the basement, torturing them? Or a sibling that was beating up another sibling, or that crazy uncle that lived with little Sally and her family for a week and abused Sally. How many times do we see that? Too many times. So what I'm saying, and I'm going to try to wrap this up because I don't want to get too long with this. Stop trusting everyone. We live in a world of crazy people. Teach your kids, your friends, your siblings how to deal with different situations. Things do come up. They happen. We cannot act like they don't happen. Okay? That's just living in a bubble. We have to be realistic and understand that bad things do happen to good people. So teach each other how to get through those bad situations and teach each other how to cope with it and deal with it. So if it does happen, they know these are the steps I can take. Obviously, that's different for everyone. Any type of abuse is hard to deal with, so it's a lot easier said than done. But if those conversations are at least in place, it makes it a lot easier than if after the fact you now try to come in and have these conversations. So, again, I'm not trying to get too long and winded with this. The biggest thing that I want to say is for everyone, teachers pay attention to your students. If you see they're coming in disheveled, you see they're coming in tattered clothes, or they're constantly acting out or randomly acting out, pay attention to them. Parents, pay attention to your kids, making sure that they're not always going with different families and different, sleepovers and parties and this. They don't have to go to all that. They will be just fine. I missed a ton of parties and sleepovers growing up, and I think I'm just fine. I think. And then also for kids, you don't have to go everywhere. Trust your parents. I remember being very mad because I couldn't go to every Sweet 16 or every party or sleepover after prom or whatever the case may be. But again, I think I turned out just fine. Life will go on. There will be more parties. There will be plenty of parties. You can party as much as you want the rest of your life. But I've had a cold, so apparently it's coming back. Anyways, positive vibes only right here. Let's be positive. Let's change. And I'm not saying let's be flowery and all happy-go-lucky, because the world is not that way. What I am saying is, I with you and you with whoever else need to start having these conversations about things that are really happening in sports, in news, in life. In the news, things like abuse and bullying and suicide and mass shootings. All these conversations need to happen. Let's stop arguing about the powers of things that we can't control, such as the president or politics or laws or whatever else. Administrators, the job is unfair, the process was rigged, this, that, whatever. I'm literally throwing out hypothetical situations. What I'm trying to say is, you can't control other people. You can't control who likes you, what other people do, but you can control, again, how you think. So my homework assignment, didn't you know we have homework assignments? My homework assignment is to compliment someone. Try once a day to compliment someone on anything. It doesn't have to be a long compliment. It can be a 1 second. Hey, I like your hair. Hey, you have a great smile. It doesn't have to be a creepy compliment either. It can be something, hey, you had a great game the other day. Hey, I like your shoes. Or maybe not hey at the beginning of it, but you get what I mean. Compliment someone. Don't go out of your way to be nice to someone. You should be naturally able to be nice to other people. You should be able to walk by someone in the grocery store that is struggling with their bags and say, hey, do you need help? Maybe they don't actually need help. And I'm not saying help them and go all in their car and everything, because that's dangerous. What I am saying is you just offer to help. Maybe you hold something while they straighten themselves out, because I'm not trying to, whatever. We have to be safe. But be nice to someone, all right? 1 compliment a day to a stranger or someone you don't know as well. Or maybe someone you do know well, because you know what? Your mom, your dad, your best friend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, whatever, they need compliments too. Once a day, a compliment. That's all I ask. All right? Positive vibes only. We'll be back. I don't know when the next one is, but I'll let you know. Have a great day. See ya.